Every story has a setting. It means the location and time period in which your story takes place. Whether it's a sunny beach or a spooky mansion, a bustling city, or even outer space, vivid descriptions of those settings transport readers to another world, even if it's a world you totally imagined.
For instance, if I were writing a story about where I am right now, the setting would be a riverbank alongside the Ohio River in western Pennsylvania. One thing I've noticed in all of the years that I've taught creative writing is that when it comes to describing setting, young writers tend to focus on things in the setting that can be seen. I see that river, I see the bushes, I see the rocks.
But we experience the world through 5 different senses. Things we can see, but also things we hear. Touch, smell, and taste. One of my favorite quotes says, "When you start using senses you've neglected, your reward is to see the world with completely fresh eyes."
Once you build an awareness of those 5 senses, then you're more likely to incorporate those details in your fiction. So here's a writing exercise that challenges you to observe the sensory details where you live.
Take a walk and find 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And then practice writing descriptions of them. Get in the habit of breaking down the scene. Here's a house with a garden, but really look at that garden. How many separate elements are in this one scene? It has flowers, there's a lantern, a statue, shrubs, it has a banner. That's already 5 different things I can see just in this one small plot of land. And don't just look straight ahead either. Look up and describe what you see at the tops of the trees. Describe the pattern of the sunbeams. Then look down and notice details that are literally right beneath your feet. Finally, look at the same thing from different angles, like this old fence. From far away, it's just white planks, but up close, you'll see individual details like splintered wood, peeling paint, even an exposed rusty nail. Unique details create a very vivid picture to help your reader imagine your story setting.
Think of all of the different textures that your characters can experience through the sense of touch. For instance, I'm sitting on a cement block right now, and sure, it's hard. I would have guessed that. But it's also smoother than I would have expected. And it's pretty cool, even though the weather today is very warm.
What if your story was set in a desert? What would the sun and the air feel like on your skin? How would this cactus feel if you touched it? Maybe you think that cactus would feel sharp, spiky, prickly. Now think about places you've visited and consider how you experienced those places through your sense of touch. Write down descriptions of those settings from memory, and then, if you can, revisit those places and see how your memory compares to the real thing.
Describing sound is really great practice for a writer. Can you hear all of the birds around me? The water is making some noise. There's even a lot of sounds of traffic on the road that's across the river. The world really is a very musical place.
Water is the perfect example. It's the same rainstorm, but do you hear how different the raindrops sound each time they hit a different surface? Think about how many different settings include water. How would you describe the sound of this fountain? How about the mixture of waves and wind on this beach?
And here's a tip to really focus on what you're hearing. Close your eyes and just listen.
Can you guess what this sound is? Try one more. Can you guess the setting that goes with this sound? Sound really is a crucial element in any setting. So be sure to focus on those details when you write.
And when it comes to the five senses, I personally think the sense of smell is the most important one you can add to your fiction.
Scientific studies prove our sense of smell is closely linked with our memories. When you describe the smells and the fragrances in a setting, it may trigger a particular memory in your reader, and that is a great way to engage them emotionally in your story. And last but not least, we get to the sense of taste. Now, obviously, settings could include food, so you might describe what your characters are tasting. But don't forget some of the less obvious opportunities for describing taste in a setting, like a character catching snowflakes on her tongue, or that dry taste of fear you get in your mouth when you're in a scary situation. Remember, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, write. References to all five senses complete the description of your setting. So the next time you take a walk, take a writing pad too, and make this exercise part of your creative writing workout.